Say goodbye to our ESPN2 audience, and please change on over to ESPN to see the final of this match and the championship match. Please come over and join us on ESPN. Leanne Barrette. Now, Carolyn, you bowl against your sister and some very close friends out here. Does that affect how you perform?
Absolutely not. When you're on the lanes, it's all business. You're asking the wrong person. Did you think someone else would be nicer about that?
Yeah, you're not exactly sentimental, I mean.
No, I think it's for everybody. When you're on the lanes, it's all business. And once you're off the lanes, that's when you kindle your friendships and go to dinner and talk about the day's activities. I don't think it's personal at all.
It's not. And do you think all the women handle that pretty well out here?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. Sometimes in a women's sport, some of that people say that it's difficult for them to do, but at a professional level, that's what you're here for.
And especially if you're traveling with the same people week to week, you have to learn how to, adjust to things.
Leanne Barrette, first time up this year. As you mentioned, she has been struggling. She had that hip injury, which was a real problem for her all of last year.
Over the break, she went to a therapist, had a lot of physical therapy done on her hip and her lower back. Says it's about 75%. She's changed her stance a little bit to take some pressure off her hip and said it's helped tremendously.
Well, it must have helped this week because she makes the telecast, and we're talking about women's sports. June 21st to the 23rd is the Women in Sports Weekend on ESPN. From pioneers to primetime players, it's a celebration of women in sports. ESPN will also recognize and explore all the components of Title IX on its 30th anniversary. The weekend will encompass nearly 40 hours of programming. That's including professional women's sporting events, specials, documentaries, and classic moments in women's sports. Now, you want to go to ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Classic for all of that. And you want to go right here to see messengers like that.
Second shot by Leanne comes in just a little bit light, but throws that pin right across the deck, knocks out that 10 pin. And this is with a little bit of carry down. I heard they got a little bit tighter, spoke to Kendra and Anne-Marie, but Leanne used a lot more surface in the morning when she first started. So I was expecting her to see maybe one ball out there with, quite a bit of surface like she used in the morning, but she's using a little less surface, but with a little bit of a stronger ball. So that makes a big difference.
Kim-Terrell leaving a 10 pin. I wonder do you think the fans at home are noticing that there's a hand in the background as pushing the ball aside as the ball goes back in the pit?
Oh, we don't want any ball returns.
They're trying to make sure all the balls come back and come back quickly. Yes, it is automated. No, they don't do it by hand here. Kim-Terrell covers that one up. Kim-Terrell was talking about she used basically the same equipment all week, and just her look changed throughout the week, but she stayed with the same equipment.
Same equipment. She changed surfaces a little bit, used a little more surface in the morning, a little less at night, but basically stayed within 3 or 4 different bowling balls, and it worked for her.
Now, she averaged 220 for the week, and that was 8th in average for the week. But 17 and 7 in match play.
Her match play was fantastic, but she said this goes along to it. Oh, trying to send the messenger over just like Leanne. Just like I said in the opening, she made a specific point last night to say in 3 or 4 matches, people opened in the 10th frame against me, and I won.
And it was mostly that last round. She went 7 and 1. She talked about them opening in the 10th. Her opponents only averaged 200 even in the last round. Now, that's low for the scoring pace. You consider, the Kim averaged 220. Of course, she went 7 and 1.
That's when, that goes back to you just need the breaks. Like I said, people open in the 10th. You trip a 4 pin when you go a little high. And let me tell you, you notice when it happens once, it happens twice, it happens 3 times, and boom, there you are making 3 shows in a row. Here's the stance that Leanne has. She has her right foot back, and what this does is it alleviates the pressure on her left hip. The end of last year, she got into some bad habits, and her position at the foul line was not good, and that made her hip hurt even worse. So she worked with Kim-Terrell's coach over the break, and he really helped her out quickly. It took all of 1 or 2 days, changed her stance, got her into a little bit of a rhythm, and she said it really took the pressure off, and she has not had any problems with it since then. She still does stretching exercises and gets therapy on it when she can, but it's made a big difference.
Well, the coach she worked with was Rod Ross, and She talked about having to open her hip, close her hip, that she was doing that too many times in each approach.
Right, and it was adding a lot more pressure to her hip and her lower back. Making the adjustment on the left lane, leaving a ring 10.
Well, hopefully she'll get back to 100% at some point. She said at the beginning of the year she was about 50% better and now about 75%. So hopefully throughout the season it'll continue to improve.
Leanne also only used about 3 or 4 different balls during the week, and the only thing she really changed was surface. She said her look remained the same, and here she is.
The semifinal match is just underway. It's too early to call, so stay with us. Leanne Barrette in the lead by 10. We're back at the Greater Harrisburg Open. We're actually at ABC West Lanes in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Through 3.5 frames, Leanne Barrette leads Kim-Terrell by 10 pins. I'm Jan Schmidt, along with Terrell and Leanne Barrette. And we are bringing you the semifinal match. Kim-Terrell successfully moved on from the first match and now has left a couple of 10 pins in a row in this match, stepping up in the 4th frame. Kim's taking a little time here, actually a little bit of movement on the approach, and she's waiting until it gets set. Not wanting concentration to be broke, actually out on the approach, right in her vision, so she's taking a moment here. And it was a good moment, well taken.
Great shot from the commercial break by Kim, very aggressive. One thing Kim keyed on this week is not putting too much pressure on herself. She said the last few weeks, believe it or not, she didn't feel like she was physically bowling well, which is hard to imagine because she has really been bowling well. But she said she'd put too much pressure on herself and then that would take over. And she felt like she got into some bad habits. This week, she didn't put any pressure on herself, took one game at a time, and here she is.
2-year Team USA member. Make the match all even if she strikes right here.
Oh! Another light 7-10, nowhere to be found.
There's a lumberjack down there.
She got this ball a little bit further right than she's been playing, comes back just hitting that head pin and gets that 7-10 out. And she smiles. After the worried look, she smiles.
I'd be smiling a bunch. It was a good shot anyway, but
Absolutely.
It looked like it was going to be a bad break. 212 average on this pair for Leanne throughout the week. Well, next week, the PWBA heads to the Bowlers Club in Latham, New York for the inaugural Empire State PWBA Classic. That's live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It's all part of the Women in Sports Weekend on ESPN, a weekend that celebrates the anniversary of Title IX. Be sure to join ESPN for the best in women's professional bowling. That's every Sunday this month at 4:30 p.m. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
One thing Leanne keyed on was that she said she bowled well throughout the whole tournament. She liked what she did. She liked her adjustments pair to pair. And that's one thing different, she said, for herself, because she's always used to coming from behind. She's never up at the top and stays there the whole week. That's how she feels. This week, she felt like she was always at the top, and she's like, I didn't know what to do going into the last day. I'm usually having to shoot 400 over to get to the show. So it was kind of nice to see. She was very excited about it and felt like she had made like another step in her career.
Yeah, it was a big moment for her. Kim-Terrell with another big strike.